Welcome to the Southeast Retirement Planners Podcast, where we will go beyond the balance sheet with our guests, not only to share from our personal experience as financial advisors of over 25 plus years, but also to learn from our guests about the issues and topics that are important to them. Our firm specializes in taking care of the financial plans for individuals and small businesses by helping our clients identify their individual goals and taking a conservative and ongoing approach to helping accomplish them. We are located in Hickory, North Carolina, and look forward to continuing to serve our clients and our community. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Welcome to Southeast Retirement Planners Podcast. I'm excited to have another episode today with my guest, Andrew Moose from the Jackson Creative. We have a lot to talk about. Just want to remind everyone to please take a minute to find us on our website on seretirementplanners.com. You can find all of our podcasts on YouTube and also on Spotify. We need for you to like and subscribe to those so that we can keep up with what's going on and the effectiveness of what we're doing and hopefully generate some more content that you all may like. But a lot of times we want to spend a few minutes talking about some financial topics and things like that with our guests, but more often than not, we also just want to talk to some people who are doing things in our community that we're proud of and that we want other people to know about. And Andrew Moose is one of those people, and he's been helping us actually curate and produce this podcast and through the Jackson Creative. And so we'll kind of get into a little bit of that. And then you have a new kind of exciting venue and resource for our community here in Hickory that you just recently kind of went live with, so to speak, no pun intended. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Bob, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, that's great.
On the other side of the microphone.
I know. Well, you're usually in the other room over there kind of helping take care of everything. So give me a little bit of your background. You and I were both at Lenore-Rhine, right. Probably overlapped a little bit in time.
We did.
And you stayed in Hickory. You're from nearby.
Right.
You're not too far down the road.
Right. Grew up in Statesville.
Okay.
Moved to Hickory to go to Lenore-Rhine in 1998. Graduated in 2002 and moved away for 2 or 3 years and then moved back and been here ever since.
What brought you back?
A lot of different things. For one, it was the majority of my friends that I had at LR were still living in Hickory. So it was an easy transition back. I think that I personally thought that Hickory had a lot to offer. Still do. Still think that Hickory has a lot to offer. But it was, a combination of things. It was friends. It was job opportunity. It was just, wanted to be closer to my folks. They still live in Statesville, so it's only 45 minutes from my front door at home. So it was an easy decision.
All right, well that's good. So you came back. I mean, I'm assuming you went to LR and you had obviously like a multimedia and journalism background, I assume, and then you started working immediately in this field. That's
completely incorrect. Right. I actually majored in political science and sociology at Lenore-Rhine. Just like most folks, they don't actually necessarily use their degree to the letter when they get out of school. Once I left Lenore-Rhine, I was actually a golf professional for a minute, owned a small business for a minute, and then came here. Came to Jackson Creative.
You were a golf pro? Where were you a golf pro?
At a couple different places. Briar Creek Country Club in Raleigh and Headwaters Golf Club in Cashers. So 2 different places, and realized that working the weekends was no fun.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no fun.
Most people would probably think being a golf pro is a really good gig, but
most people think that, you get to play a lot of golf as a golf professional. You do not get to play a lot of golf as a golf professional. So that was common misconception, but I enjoy golf a lot more now that I'm not.
Do you play all the time? I didn't even know this about you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's your handicap these days?
It's a 5.9. It's a vanity handicap. Like I can blow it out of the water too. So, it's huge vanity. Don't. Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. So you probably get called for the Captain's Choice tournaments and
I let down scramble partners all the time.
I'm sure. So how often do you play? What's your favorite course to play around here?
I play mostly out of Players Ridge, which is in Bethlehem, which is old still. And those guys, we actually had Brandon Lee, the owner of Players Ridge, on Entrepreneur Exchange here on the Mesh last week, and that fella has turned around that golf course. It's so nice to see. I've stuck with that place for I'm going on 20 years now.
I was going to say it was Oliver's Landing, and then
Hickory
changed
Sticks, Rivercrest.
Right.
It's been a few different ownerships, but I think Brandon's got it figured out. He's putting a lot of love and cash into that place, and he's got a really good staff. And I think there's nothing but really good things. And unfortunately, because of the recent closing of Hampton Heights Golf Club, a lot of those players from Hampton are now going to Players Ridge. So that's just an influx of players. And when you have an influx of players, you have a better client base, which brings in more revenue, which allows you to do more things. And as long as it's being run right. It is being run right. Yeah. And it's great to see.
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great, man. Well, you mentioned the Mesh.
The Mesh, yeah.
So
we're sitting now.
We're in the Mesh.
We are. Yes.
I don't know what that means, but this is part of what Jackson Creative does. Mm-hmm. You guys do a lot of different things.
We do.
The Mesh is your podcasting network.
Yes, it is.
Is that right?
Yes,
so,
it is.
Not only do you host podcasts on your network for certain, what would it be, channels for certain episodes, people,
right? We host in the Mesh Network has roughly 14 or 15 shows now.
Okay,
and each show produces between 1 and 4 or 5 episodes a month. And we put them out on our network as well as all the podcast catchers out there. We do audio and video podcasts. We've got a lot of wide-ranging shows. It's something for everybody is what we like to say. We have, like, for instance, the aforementioned Entrepreneur Exchange podcast. I can't get that out. Sorry, Jeff Newell. And all the way to we have John Reap, all of John Reap's stuff on our network. So it's a very wide range of things that we do here, and we enjoy it. We used to call it our side gig at work, and now it's starting to become a very viable business for us.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Well, I mean, so much content is going to online and social media and everything else, which is also part of what you guys do, is help companies like ours and other companies with their branding efforts and their marketing efforts and all that kind of stuff. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, Jackson Creative, our parent company, we're a custom communication agency, so we help folks that are small business to medium sized business really help them marketing their products and their company itself. Either by websites or videos or graphic design, social media management, paid campaigns with Google, paid campaigns with social media. We do all of it. Podcasting is starting to become a vertical that we are using to help businesses such as Southeast Retirement Planners, because people are starting to really see the value of podcasting. It's a great way to introduce yourself to potential customers. It's a great way to really elucidate what you're doing as a company. I feel that if folks are able to see you on camera or listen to you through podcasting channels, that they feel like they already know you. They feel like you have some sort of rapport already, even if they've never even shook your hand or met you.
Right.
That they have an idea of the person you are and your personality, so they're able to really mesh your personalities together. No pun intended, all the pun intended. So
yeah. Well, I mean, the idea of going from whatever print media or ad campaigns or marketing campaigns that we typically used to look at, now the idea of virtual or more online access to things really does open the door to, I don't know, you can communicate your personality in a lot of ways, and you can do other things that really kind of help people form what they view of your brand. And I think that's really important.
Oh, 100%. It is important. It shortens the lines of communication these days, because with social media, especially with pushing those things out to platforms that people are already on all the time anyway.
Yeah,
it's putting that in front of people is a key way to highlight what you're doing.
Well, I think probably for a lot of people that are in our area, they may not know that this is part of what you do. They may not know that you have a great studio and you've got all the equipment and the microphones and the cameras and all the editing stuff, and you do all the post work. this is part of what you do. I know you've also done big capital campaign projects and working on media for some of those things. So give me an idea of the type of client, the type of customer or business that you work with. I'm assuming it's pretty wide ranging.
Oh yeah, it is. We work with all ranges and sizes of companies, from your small mom and pop to medium to extra medium companies. We work with companies that, generally speaking, have a small marketing force already, and we supplement a lot of that stuff for them. So, for instance, if we work with a company that has a sole marketing director, they might farm out to us videos and social media work and all that, and then we take that content and we push it back to them and say, okay, now you guys can do that.
Which is kind of what you're doing with us.
Essentially, right. But we also have the capabilities to do it all too. So some people might find online advertising or online promotion a little daunting, and they might say, well, we don't have the time for any of it.
Right.
And a lot of the times we get folks in, they're like, well, we've tried to do it and we realize that we're not good at it. And so that's where we come in, and we really play that role of, being able to be a firm that provides it from the start to finish. We get a rough idea of the things that you do, what you're interested in, what your company does, and go from there.
Yeah. I think it's really one of the values is to have a place like the Jackson Group here in our town that's such a resource. So like in our case, and in a lot of cases with other organizations I've worked with that you guys have helped, you don't know what you don't know, particularly when you get into this social media world. There's so much available content. There's so much available ways to manipulate advertising and audience size and who your target is and all that kind of stuff. And so to have you guys as a resource that says, look, this is what we do. You can put a plan together and you can run it. If you have a marketing person that you want to run it, you can run it. We'll help you do that, or we can run it for you. And I think that's a really significant resource. So that's a cool thing for our area for sure.
Well, thank you. A lot of that, goes into the know-how. It's the Facebook and Google algorithms change every single day.
Yeah.
And
you've already lost me.
Right. So basically, right. In layman's terms, when to post, where to post, what to post changes daily.
Yeah.
And not being able to know as a business owner where those things fit, that's where a firm like us really is. You're able to utilize a firm like us to really gain an end goal there, because if you have someone that might have an idea of what they're doing in their marketing department or whatever, it might be a futile effort. So it's really important to have your finger on the pulse to know those things of
so you're not
where,
spinning
when,
your
how.
wheels.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So how did you go from golf pro landscaper to now business development for this group?
Well, by hook and crook a little. Mary Margaret, who is one of our principals here, and I also went to LR. We all went to LR together, and this position came available. I realized that my business and Moose Landscapes was it was not the. It's a young man's game. It is, and my body was telling me no. It was just couldn't do it anymore. And I found a buyer. That was a lot of it. I found someone who was willing to buy my book of business, and not to mention I saw the body of work here, and I thought it was really cool. And I saw the direction. It was 8 years ago now that the digital world is going. I was like, they have their finger on the pulse, so I want to transition here. And it was a sharp learning curve for me because I didn't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I still don't. I still know enough to be dangerous. And
there's podcasts though that are out there that'll kind of tell you how to do 100% podcasts and stuff.
I'm lucky enough to work with a group of people that have, drugged me along a little bit and taught me enough to that I know, what companies need now. And it's and I try to help those folks to send them to the professionals on my team to be able to create all that content for them.
Yeah. Now, there's some people that aren't going to listen to your advice and aren't going to do what it is. Is it true that Hank Eimer and Chad are the worst podcast that you guys are affiliated with?
The worst.
They don't, I mean, you just can't, but there's contractually, you can't.
Yeah, there's the Batman and Robin, and I'm not going to tell you which one is Batman and which one's Robin. They get it leading in that.
Fairly obvious.
No, big fan is one of our flagship podcasts here, and those guys are fantastic.
They're awesome. They do a great job.
It's a really, really funny podcast, and those guys have been doing it for years now. They started that podcast as a fantasy football podcast, and it's transitioned now into Big Fan, which is everything under the sun. Yeah. So it's every 2 weeks. It releases on Tuesday. Go subscribe to it. You'll like it.
That's good. Yeah. All right. So we've gone from professional golf pro, landscaper. Now you're with the Jackson Group,
right?
And your side gig, in addition to playing golf, is you like music.
Yeah, I'm music freak. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, musician by trade. Go to concerts as often as I can. There's just so much really, really good music around. It's hard to stay in the house.
So have you always played, always been a singer? Is that just kind of...
My mom taught music out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I like to say I didn't have a choice. I had a choice.
Did you have like a high school garage band or...
No, I played guitar and learned a little bit how to sing going along. I started playing out for people in church when I was 14 or 15, and moved into the fraternity house and playing for my friends there, making songs up with my friends, things like that, and then realized that, hey, like, you mean you can make money doing this? So
not really.
No, but you can definitely.
Somebody told you that.
You can definitely supplement your income by. I would not recommend quitting your job and starting a band to try to do it from scratch. But yeah, it's just something that I've been doing for playing out for people for 20 years now. It's dating myself, but yeah.
Yeah, you guys are still, so Moose and Friends, you're still playing.
Yeah, still playing.
You were just playing. I was at a thing you did last week, so that was really cool.
Yeah, thanks for not booing me. I appreciate it.
Well, I did.
Oh, okay.
You just couldn't hear me. I was too far away.
I couldn't hear it over the cheers.
Right. Yeah, it was good though. All right, so that brings me to really not the main thing I want to talk to you about, but one of the most exciting things I think happening is when I can see what's going on in our community and downtown development and just all the things that are happening and the effort and the energy that's sort of being poured into those things, like Riverwalk and the music under the sails, and it's just creating a really cool environment for Hickory that I think is helpful and it's attractive to new businesses and all that kind of stuff. So one of the things that maybe you thought there was a missing piece in our community and you tried to kind of solve that problem and fill that hole. So tell me a little bit about the Hum. What is that?
Well, the Hum has been a labor of love between myself and my business partners for the last roughly about 2 years now. The Hum is going to be a music venue that is located right within a short walking distance of downtown. We have a very large general admission lawn area, huge stage. It's going to be fantastic. We had our first concert event a couple weeks ago, and it went off great. We had food trucks and breweries and a great band, and we had right under 300 people there.
Okay.
And we realized that this is a very viable opportunity for us. And it does a couple of things, going back to what you said. A couple of years ago, my business partner, Gavin, approached me and said, hey, we've got some properties around that might make a great music venue. And one is just so happens out our back door here. And we scouted that property and kind of had a vision, and we just decided to move on it. When COVID hit back in January of last year, Gavin calls me and says, like, we've got to do this. Like, it's what Hickory's missing. It is what, what other people have tried to do in the past, but have maybe missed a little. There's been some live music venues in town that have popped up. And
have there ever been any that are like really designated to be outdoor venues.
No,
like
not
this.
outdoor.
Right. And that's where I think COVID just kind of changes everything.
Yeah, I
right?
do too.
I mean, now we don't know what the future holds, but that's going to be a factor in a lot of the things, a lot of the decisions that are being made
100%.
from a corporate standpoint, but even just sort of community wide. When can you gather? How many people can gather? All that. And so being outdoors as an option gives you a lot of flexibility.
100%.
Yeah.
It also gives people a little bit of comfort too, because with the studies we've seen with COVID, that we realize that we can gather virtually safely outside,
right.
In mass. I think that with the way that the numbers are trending now, that we are, I mean, I'm no Anthony Fauci, but I do think that we are on the way out of this, with one way or another. So, having these opportunities such as the and the other outdoor spaces that are around, is going to give us a little bit of a sense of normalcy.
Yeah, I hope so.
And
hopefully attract some talent. So you had a concert a couple weeks ago. It was Big Daddy Love.
It was, yeah.
And you had food trucks. So do you always, when you have an event, will you typically coordinate those things and have those people come in, food trucks and beer vendors and all that? Because that's not really already built into your space. You're just a concert venue.
Right. Yeah. When we were talking about doing this, our vision was to create a music festival type atmosphere.
Okay.
So if you've ever been to a music festival, you know that there's all types of vendors, different music, wide open spaces, and people having a great time. And that's the end goal for us, is we want to provide space for community. We want to give people a place where they can come and feel safe. And and also, like, and this is not a knock on our city, but one of the greatest compliments that I had given to me last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, after that show, was I feel like this wasn't in Hickory.
Oh, okay.
So
that's interesting.
And I was like, okay, I was like, expound on that a little bit. And they're like, well, Hickory doesn't have anything like this. I was like, well, bingo. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fill a gap for folks. We want to give, folks a place to be
Make it a
entertained.
destination.
Make it a destination. And
if you can attract the right type of band, then people are going to want to come here for that purpose.
Exactly.
We went up, to the mountains not long ago for a concert at up on the side of the up on beach, and it was a great show, and I wouldn't have normally gone, but the band attracted us to it. So that's a good idea.
That's our plan.
Yeah.
With this past with the event that we had, it was we coined it a soft opening because we wanted to see what we could do and what we think the potential for the place is. And the consensus is that we can do it a lot bigger too.
Okay.
So we're going to start bringing in acts that are, bigger in size. Not that Big Daddy Loves is not a big act, but I can't name names or anything, but it's all in talks. But we're going to have a full slate of spring shows.
Okay, I was going to ask. So what's the schedule? I mean, you're probably going to shut down or slow down anyway through the winter,
right? Yeah,
but you'll be ready to just kind of get rolling back in the spring,
right? Yeah, we're looking at the last weekend of March. Our season Our season is going to run March to the end of October.
Okay,
and one thing that is super important to me about building this venue is that I also want to give our local talent space to play, because there is an abundance of talent around. So also, we will have bigger name shows, but we're also going to do, multi-act local shows as well, just so, you can draw from all sorts of circles and all that good stuff. And, we're also kicking around the idea to do a dinner and a show. So, think of a $20 ticket, you're going to get 4 or 5 local bands, you're going to get food trucks, and it's all going to be built into one price.
Oh, right.
So it's, we've got all kinds of things up our sleeve that we're just ready to introduce to the community that, we want to give our community this new thing, because we want to retain talent here in Hickory. I want more Andrew Mooses and Bob Finchers in this town that decided that Hickory was a great place to live.
Yeah, I mean, other people might take issue with that.
100%.
They might need less of you and less of me around here.
But just categories of people, the people that, might be on the younger, that skew younger, that might have grown up in Hickory, left to go to school, and then came back. That contingency is starting to grow here. The contingency that I'd like to see grow is people and graduates from LR staying.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I mean, what a resource that LR is for our area too. So
it's built in.
And I'll tell you, thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm excited about the Hum. I think that's going to be a really cool venue for our area. And for me, again, this isn't specific to what it is that we do at Southeast Retirement Planners, but to know that we have partners that are in our community, that are helping our business, that are helping our community. I just think it's a cool thing to be able to talk to people about and learn more about. So looking forward to whatever the lineup is going to look like this spring. And I guess everybody can find this information out on social media platforms. Wherever.
Yeah, socials. We're at the Hum Hickory on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the whole thing. Have not loaded TikTok videos yet. Okay. We're getting there.
It's dicey.
You can also check us out on our website, thehum.live.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks a lot. And
welcome.
Again, for our podcast at Southeast Retirement Planners, please check out our website, seretirementplanners.com, and find us on YouTube and on Spotify or whatever podcast catchers you like. And be sure to like and subscribe so that we can keep up with all the metrics and the numbers behind that stuff. But that's it for us today. Thanks again for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome, man. It was my pleasure.
All right, be good. See you. Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member of FINRA, SIPC. Southeast Retirement Planners is not affiliated with LPL Financial or registered as a broker-dealer or investment advisor.